What up? It's your boy Dick Incredible, man. Yes, I am back at it again, and this is 911 Season 4, Episode 8, aka the Winter Finale Review. Now, this episode had some crazy things going on into it, man, and we had a couple callbacks. Let's get into it. Like I said, this episode went crazy, man. It was a lot of crazy stuff happening. But we also had a couple callbacks, which were nice, man. I really enjoyed the callbacks. At the beginning of the episode, we start off at the airport and we see that like this stewardess is going crazy, man. She's losing her stuff because these passengers are annoying. They've just been doing the most. And then the one dude that, like, when she fell, started groping her, man. I can understand why she lost it, along with her drinking and taking a whole bunch of those little bottles of alcohol. Like, she was gone. So, I can see why she kind of lost it a little bit. You know, the little shots of liquor didn't help. But the man groping her and her falling and the kid sneezing in her face, yeah, I can understand why she got a little annoyed. But the chick lost her cool, man, and she grabbed that champagne bottle and she was ready to dip. So she got off the plane, and the dude that where the callback comes in, that the dude that got sucked into the airplane that one time, he comes in, we see him again, and which it was nice. I didn't even know it was him until Buck mentioned it, but it was nice to see old dude again. And he tried to help this chick after she got off the airplane, and next thing you know, the cork ended up in his throat, man. Dude, it looked so bad, man. And they finally got it out of him, and we see this one dude kind of there, his partner, kind of helping him a little bit. It's like, man, whatever you go through, man, I understand. Now I know why you love this job, and you're never going to quit. You're going to tough it out. And the dude was like, I quit. The man was like, I'm done. Like, getting sucked into an airplane and getting my neck punctured by a cork. I don't want to work at the airport anymore. Then we have the stewardess saying she quit too. And that's how the episode started. It was a nice subtle callback, but like I didn't expect it, but it was nice to have that moment in there. The other callback was Taylor, the newscaster or news anchor, whatever, the news lady that Buck had the semi-relationship with, man. It was nice to see her because when we met her, she was on scene covering this whole thing that this guy tried to break into a house, ended up getting caught, and climbed on the roof as his last stand. I don't know. He didn't try to run down the street and escape, but he was in a cul-de-sac. So, I mean, I know you could get too far, but you could run and hide behind a couple houses or something. I don't know. He decided to go on the roof. He got on the roof, and now he's stuck. And now he's dealing with the negotiators and the firefighter, 911 response. Everybody's there just waiting on this dude because he has a gun. So they kind of watch the situation a little bit, and 4 hours go by. 4 hours, man. And then the old man that lives there was like, everybody just sitting around here eating. When can I eat? When can I enjoy myself? And nobody sees this man. He goes and grabs a ladder, climbs up on his roof, and pushes the dude off. Dude, the man ended the whole standoff by himself. He didn't even need the police or anything. I kind of felt sorry for the old man too, though, man, because he just wanted to go inside his house, and the dude was like, "I had enough," and he pushed the dude. He pushed him off. But like I said, we met Taylor at the scene. I just had to mention that, man. That was so hilarious. We met Taylor at the scene, and we see Buck talking to her again, and I was like, "Oh, okay. You know what? I could see Buck with her, man, because they had a nice rapport the very first time they kind of got into it with each other. Sure, they were nothing but friends with benefits, but they had a nice rapport with each other. And Buck really needs somebody right now because he feels a little vulnerable. And I thought that they were definitely going to get back into into the swing of things. Even if they didn't have like an actual fling, they could have like an actual relationship this time because Buck's different. Buck's changed. And what we see is that, they're having a whole thing, and Buck decides to invite her to a dinner after after the whole thing is done. Like, he calls her, and they settle things. It's like, well, it was nice to see you again, Buck. So Albert invites him to a dinner because he catches Albert and old girl together, and Buck has just had it up to here because he can't stand old girl. Sure, nobody really likes her. I don't like her. You guys don't like her. Let's be 100%. We don't like her. But Albert is dating her, so Buck's trying to, trying to be a little easy about it, but Albert keeps bringing her over to their apartment, and that's where Buck can't take the line. He can't take it anymore. He's had it up to here with old girl, and Albert decides to invite Buck to dinner with her to kind of clear the air a little bit, and Buck doesn't want to be the third wheel, and Albert was like, well, it's just dinner. You won't be a third wheel or anything, So Buck decides to invite Taylor after he met her on this call earlier today. Now, what I feel in that situation, Buck invites her to dinner, and he didn't tell her that this is what kind of dinner it was. It was like a semi double date. And I feel like Buck was wrong in that regard, because when she gets there, she tells him that she thought he wanted to actually have dinner with her and enjoy each other company and probably have a couple benefits tonight. But that's not the case. Buck wanted to put on a front for Albert and old girl, and Taylor wasn't having that, man. She told him, and she kind of just put all this stuff on Front Street and blast, and was like, "Well, we used to hang out and have sex a couple times, and that's it. Like now we don't do anything." But he wanted me. Buck needed to be liked, and she put all of his stuff out on Front Street. And then when they went to talk into the hallway, she kind of just laid into Buck, and I feel like she didn't have that to do, but that was well within her right, because because she came across kind of mean, but Buck didn't have to do her the way that he did when he invited her to the dinner, and not telling her that it was like a semi double date type thing, because he was trying to put on a show for this girl that you don't have to impress. You don't have to impress her. But anyway, Buck, decided to do all of that, and at the end of the episode, we see that she needed some help because Buck tried to call and apologize multiple times. She wasn't picking up, but she ended up doing a report on the whole COVID vaccine and everything, and they end up learning that some of the vaccinations ended up being unrefrigerated for a couple hours because their refrigerator broke. So she needed help to distribute these and send them to somewhere else and stuff. And Buck picked up this phone and helped her. And what I loved about it is because it gave Buck that chance to be that good friend to her that she wanted him to be. And it took him talking to Christopher to actually really learn that. And she gave him a kiss at the end. Now, Buck learning that from Christopher also kind of helped Christopher in that situation sort of too, because Christopher's feeling some type of way because Eddie is dating Miss Flores. Now, Eddie and Miss Flores seem to have been dating for a minute now, and he hasn't decided to tell Christopher because he doesn't want to hurt Christopher's feelings, because in case he's feeling some way about his mother. Now, what we learned about this episode is that's how Eddie feels, but Christopher doesn't feel the same way. He's upset, and it shows, but it's not what Eddie's thinking. It's not because of his mother. It's because he feels like his whole world has changed because of COVID. He can't see his friends. He can't see anybody. He's stuck, and he doesn't want anybody to leave because his mom left permanently, but he doesn't want to lose his friends or anybody like that anymore. And Eddie didn't know that, but he shared that with Buck. And at the end of the episode, we see that Christopher ended up meeting Miss Flores while his dad they kind of had like a movie night or something, and it seemed like Christopher is enjoying being around Miss Flores because we know they already had a rapport with each other because she used to be the principal at his school, or teacher. I think she was a teacher, but we see that wasn't his cause, but like now Christopher is kind of okay with everything because he had that conversation with Buck. So I feel like this episode helped Buck and Christopher. They kind of helped each other again because they both were kind of going through something and they needed just that little bit of advice. It wasn't a lot, but it needed a little bit of advice in what they were going through. Now, some of the cases this episode, you heard me talk about the first two, and the last one is this chick, man. Oh my gosh. She put her husband in the wall, man. The alarm is going off and people are had it up to here with the alarm in her neighborhood. And next thing you know, Athena comes to check it out. What's the noise? Why does the alarm keep going off? She checks it out and tries to do the little latch on the window and everything, and finds out she stabbed her husband because they were set to get a divorce before COVID, and now they're trapped in the house with each other. And she decides to stab him and put him in the wall and let him die. Oh my God. This episode went crazy, man. But then we also have Hen situation. Now we see that their youngest daughter, which is the chick they adopted, Nia, and she's taking all of the bandages and she's practicing being a doctor or a nurse or whatever. So we see that she's having fun and she's fully integrated into their family. And this is where the cliffhanger comes in, because I feel like this episode prepared you for the cliffhanger, and they kind of wrapped up a lot of stuff, but like we're still dealing with this cliffhanger, which is at the end of the episode, we see that the adoption lady comes, the adoption lady comes and tells Hen that, we've been in talks with her mother to kind of what is the word? we've been in talks. We've been in talks with her mother to kind of, you know, bring her back into her life. She's been taking all of her steps in the program. She's been showing up. She's been doing all the work necessary, and we want to reintegrate her into her life. And the sad thing is because Nia started to fit so perfectly inside Hen's life that, like, now what's going to happen? And that's how the episode decides to end, with that whole moment with, you know, the adoption lady telling her that Nia's birth mother is back in the picture now. Say what now? That's crazy, man. Did we have Maddie this episode? Now, I love Maddie so much, man. And in parts of this episode, she was kind of dealing with some stuff a little bit, and with the fear of the baby and the world and COVID and everything, that the situation that we're in right now. And her doctor didn't help. Like, the doctor told her that, you know, like, we've been having to take my staff and use them on the lower floor in the emergency part of the hospital because things have gotten so bad. So I just wanted to prepare you that I may not be the one delivering your baby. And that kind of sent Maddie that kind of sent Maddie into a spiral and had her thinking like, well, no, I don't know what I'm going to do. She's terrified. It's a lot of stress, but then she feels like, I want to have this baby at home. Now, I don't agree with it. The only reason I don't agree with it, because, I mean, sure, it happened plenty of time in history, all throughout history, that like they had babies at homes and stuff like that. But Chimney makes a very valid point. He actually, I love the way that he done it, though, because he didn't just come out and say, well, I don't think this could work, and, you know, something may go wrong. He actually broke down the facts to her about, you know, the time frame, and I deal with this every day, and like, we lose people on the way to the hospital in transport. You know, 13 minutes is a long time. If something happens, I don't want to live without either one of you. And I love the way that Chimney broke that down for Maddie. But we all know that Maddie, she had a talk with Athena. Athena kind of broke things down for her about how she had May and Harry, and how the situations were completely different for both, but she wouldn't change a thing because she loved over her kids. And, you know, the problems that she had before Harry was born, after he was born, all of those just kind of went away. So her talking to Athena kind of just helped her alleviate all of the stress and problems and fear and doubt that she was having. But she hadn't told Chimney yet. So when Chimney kind of broke down the facts about it's 13 minutes and in total, and it's like 3 minutes climbing up the stairs and going down the stairs, we're on the 3rd floor, getting to the nearest hospital. Like, when he broke it down, I love that moment, because it showcased that, well, yeah, I'm terrified and something could happen, but like, he didn't just come out and just say, well, something could happen. No, he broke it down and showing her that, you know, there's a problem with us doing this at home. And I love the way that he handled that. I know I was kind of all over the place with this episode, but I guess that's kind of how it happened this episode. Everything kind of took place in bits and pieces, and like, we didn't really just focus on one thing instinctively. We kind of just broke it up because it was a winter finale. They just kind of wanted to give us everything, and like, everything that we dealt with kind of got wrapped up this episode, except for that final cliffhanger with Hen and her family. Now, everything else kind of got resolved within this episode, and it kind of answered all of your questions, so it didn't leave you hanging until we get to the next episode in April. Now, what I loved about everything is that it got all wrapped up. I love that, and I just can't wait till the next episode, man. So we're going to take a short break with 911, but we will be back, and I will be on it, man. This is your boy, Dick Incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button until you can't smash any more. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out. I cannot complain, because today, I'm doing my thing.